Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the CEO Chronicles. And this time we have with us Mr. Zaim G, who is from Redberry. Now, what is Redberry? Redberry is a conglomerate of various and small companies wherein they serve people of different industries and they see what they can do for them. So they are into tourism, they're into properties, they're into corporate services, they're into PRO services. They also have a full fledged space for Canadian immigration. Mr. Zam, however, is truly passionate about his tourism business, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I don't want to waste more time because I think there's so much to learn from him. So let's get to know him better. Mr. Zam, welcome to CEO Chronicles. How are you?
Thank you very much, Diksha. I'm very well, thank you.
Great. So, Zem, we understand that you have had an illustrious background in the hospitality industry.
Yes.
Okay. Why tourism?
Good question. First of all, as you mentioned in the introduction, that it's my passion. I'm in Dubai since 22 years. Originally, I'm from Pakistan. My city name is Sahiwal. But I left Pakistan 24 years back and I started my career with Intercontinental Hotel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia 24 years back. And then after 2 years of completion with the IHG group, I moved to Dubai. So total 16 years of career in hospitality. And since hospitality is basically tourism, so that's where I moved from hospitality to tourism.
Interesting. And considering that tourism industry in Dubai is quite saturated. There are so many travel agents, and in fact, we have channels like Make My Trip, and we have Musafir, and this and that. All of those are the portals who are making it super easy for you to go online, book your travels, and they have those things. Why do you think people still need a travel agent, or do you think people still need a travel agent?
Oh, yes. Very, very good question. Now we have two scenarios. One scenario, of course, post-pandemic, one scenario pre-pandemic. So online revolution came after pandemic. We all know that. But definitely we have a lot of, case studies where we have seen when people used to book online and then obviously, God forbid there is some problem with the health issues or any emergency. So with whom they have to talk? Are they going to talk to any robot, or you just simply send the email, or you do something on the app? No, you need some human interaction. And that's, we can, put it as example in our personal life as well, which I felt the event which I used to attend in person during COVID, we felt that no, we are missing the human touch. So the same rule applies to the travel agents as well. Of course, as you gave the examples of, Musafir or Make My Trip, all are doing good job. But don't forget that they have a huge team sitting behind the scene who are helping people like you and me.
Correct. And see, my experience with travel agents, some have been really good, some have not been good. My only thing is that, when things go south, not a lot of travel agents actually support you at that time. They say, sorry, you know what? Say, for instance, I'll give you an example that happened with me. We had booked our tickets in India through a travel agent to Ladakh on Go First airline. Now, we did not know that Go First was undergoing insolvency and all of those issues. And then they just said, sorry, we're going to be stopping to operate our flights. And it's been a year and a half. I've still not gotten my money back from my things. And I keep asking my travel agent, and he says, sorry, we've not got any response from the airline. And so, hence, we are not able to do anything for you. How does the travel agency even come into use at such situations?
Yes, see, it varies from, again, company to company.
Right.
This is very important because this subject goes to the airlines, If you take the example of Emirates or Fly Dubai or Etihad, you will never ever have such kind of scenarios, Take the example during COVID, when the flights started getting cancelled, what they did, they put your money in your account, you could use for your future ticket. You never lost your money, So the same thing applies to the travel agents. Travel agents they are having the contracts with these airlines, If it is a budget airline or if it is just one-off airline, then definitely there's issues because airline is not going to pay. To be very honest, I don't feel any shame to put example of Pakistan International Airlines on air. We had same case, and my own nephew who has to travel from Dubai to Pakistan last year. I'm talking about. And what happened that they said, oh, the flight is cancelled. Fine, no problem. What about the refund? And guess what? It took 1 year for the refund. And this was, by the way, not through travel agent. It was directly with the airlines.
Wow.
So it happens. These are the carriers which they have their own policies. So poor travel agents, they always, get all the heat. So that's what happens in our industry.
Correct, correct. You have also been involved with extremely prestigious, high status projects like the Red Bull X Fighters World Tour. How do you handle the pressure of such high profile assignments? And has it ever affected your personal life?
Yes, it reminds me good old days of my hotel life, and Red Bull was my corporate account. I was the account director for that company. And good old days when, there was a very nice parking slot available in front of Hilton JBR. So we had turned the whole parking slot into the racing track. And this was the racing track for, the bikers and not for the cars. Yeah.
Right.
So this was the worldwide Deva tour, which was happening in Dubai. And the group came to me. And then, the competitive industry of hotels where you have a lot of hotels around. So it was very difficult to penetrate and take this group. But I had a good connections as per my service industry and my service history. They said that, okay, we trust you and we will give you this group. So I single-handedly took that group. We managed, we organized, of course, and it was the whole teamwork. Yes, these things when we did not have the technology during that time, we had some challenges. But today's world, which I just recently had event on 11th of August, it was smooth, even though your energy and time is there. But it is one of example when you have to have, spend 100% time to that project specifically. And then, of course, you are away from your family and you're not, but you have to compromise anyway.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
No, that is there. There are no free lunches in the world, unfortunately. Whatever we do, we have to figure out and ensure that we do our best.
Yes.
Red Bull is a big brand. I mean, you must have gotten wings.
Yes. Yeah. No.
You worked in different cultural and regulatory environments as well. Which country presented the most significant professional challenges and how did you overcome them?
Yes, again, another brilliant question. I have worked with Kenya on the ecotourism. I have worked on the hotel projects in Nigeria. I have worked in Sweden as well. I have worked with the government of Pakistan for the, single-handedly one project which was not there in before. So the Ministry of, Tourism, they had approached me through one of the Chamber of Commerces. So, but all these challenges, relate to the local governance. So the real challenges which I faced was from Nigeria. Nigeria was a little bit challenging because of the local governance issues from the local authorities. But then, of course, I just built up my repo there. I had my good relations with them. So we were able to, overcome those challenges. But since Africa, until today, I go and again, I'm traveling next week to Zimbabwe. We are having these issues, the governance issues. So, because when you are having a good relations with the local authorities, the main thing comes with the documentations, the permissions, in order to, put your contract or put your project in front of them. But that was a little bit challenging. I'm talking about like 5-6 years back, this project, but it was smooth after that.
What kind of projects are these?
It was basically first to start with, we wanted to have a ready-made, hotel. But then my investor said that, okay, why don't we take a land and then we build our own hotel? So that was the reason I was traveling back and forward to Brussels to Radisson Blu head office. And but unfortunately, the governor of that time, he backed off, and then we were not able to, get the land on lease. So then later on, what we happened that we took a ready-made building, immediately turned into a hotel, and then we finished the project in a couple of months.
Wonderful. So I'm asking a bit out of scope, but you undertake these huge projects, travel to countries, and then you're building hotels and so on. How easy is it to execute these projects?
It's pretty easy. I if you would have asked this question 24 years back, then definitely, I will just okay, what I have to do, But after 24 years of experience, with so much countries knowledge, so much industry knowledge, and with the modern technology, definitely the things are quite easy now. But yes, any project. I was just working on one of the project in Saudi Arabia recently, and I had some issues, of course. But that issues, to be very honest, comes Zaim as a Pakistani national, not Zaim as a 24 years of experience. So that challenge still exists until today.
Do you think being a Pakistani national affects your credibility?
Honestly, again, I would repeat, Zaim as experience, my credibility is there.
Right.
But Zaim as a Pakistani national, yes, I do have issues.
Okay. And now I want to know you're from hospitality, you entered into travel and tourism and into other businesses as well. How did this whole transition happen? So I want to actually know in terms of chronology. You left your hospitality stuff, then you got into tourism, and then you got into properties, and then you got into PR services. Like, what came first? What came next?
When I left hotel industry, of course, that was not easy because it was a very difficult decision to leave the comfort
Right.
of salary,
Right.
every month. So that's why I took the decision when the transformation was happening in Dubai. I'm talking about 7-8 years back. I have seen my ex-colleagues; they were leaving the jobs and they were doing as entrepreneur. And like entrepreneur job is like 24 hours long.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So moving from hospitality, I started with tourism, which I do until today. But when I joined my friend's company, we are partners, in fact, in Redberry. So he was having already this business for the past 10 years. So the corporate services and properties, all that things were happening. But my huge contact database, helped to penetrate into this business, and then we are working together now.
Oh, excellent. That's nice. Redberry,
Yeah.
I have read as per my
Yeah.
research, has a lot of emphasis on sustainability.
Yes.
Okay. And clients obviously view it differently because people sometimes say that, oh, it is just an eye wash, and how can a travel or tourism or a hospitality company talk about sustainability, etc. How do you view this as, and what are the initiatives that you are actually taking to ensure you are actually a sustainable company?
It's a big challenge, to be very honest, because we have the United Nations Development Goals also, which are the 17 UNDG at the moment, and sustainability is one of that part. And it applies to not only the corporate companies, but it applies to us as an individual as well. When the companies are talking about profit origin things, for them, they are not ready to compromise on their profits. So we have to slowly penetrate and introduce the practices which are meeting our sustainable goals. For example, take the example of my 30 employees in the office.
Right.
They are using their own bottles, which are not plastic bottles. So we have reduced the use of single use plastic bottles as well. We are trying to use the daylight because our office is having a full daylight, so our lights are off. All right, so the green concept we have in fact introduced not only to the office as a corporate organization, but to the individuals as well. And then again, it applies to the next step, because when we talk about the CSR activities, the corporate social responsibility, we keep sustainability in the forefront there.
Okay, this is for what you're doing internally.
Yeah.
For your office, etc. How does this translate to what you're doing for the clients or for the audience? Are you introducing any particular sustainable measures, or even when you're educating them, when you're conducting their travels, etc.? Any kind of measures that you're also, introducing there?
Yes, definitely. Because as a travel, we start the journey. It starts with your airlines, of course, And remember that all the airlines are already implementing the carbon footprint, and they are, when you print your ticket, even it's mentioned that how much carbon footprint they will be having in that flight. When you land, which hotel you are choosing? Is it like a green building? Is it having a certificate of sustainability? And then you go, in fact, by the transport, which is having a less impact on the planet. For example, take my example. I implement when I land in any country, I see, okay, it's a 3 kilometer walk, no problem. I go for the walk. I don't use any public transport. So these are the small initiatives which we are, in fact, giving to our clients in a package. And I also implement on my personal life as well during travel.
So is it, because now it's exciting me that, when you're actually preparing packages and giving things to people, do you tell them that, what, this is a green hotel.
Yeah.
This is it. This is a normal, regular 5-star, 4-star hotel, etc. I would recommend you to do this. Do you do such things?
See, everything comes with a price.
Right, of
Right?
course, 100%.
So, because again, it's a mindset.
Yes.
If you are ready to put your share and to save this planet, right, you are definitely ready to pay another $10. But unfortunately, in today's world, the competitive market where we are talking about saving the $10, all right, it's very difficult to change the mindset of the people. But I have seen a very positive shift after the pandemic that people
Yes.
are talking
Have
about.
become more aware.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So see, this is where my second concern is
Yeah.
that do people really care? We obviously talk about climate change and sustainability and so on, and this whole carbon footprint printed
Yeah.
on tickets and so on. Does a common man really bother about it? Do you think that people, or I mean, has anyone even approached you and said that, what, hey, listen, I've noticed this on my ticket, or this is the flight that had so much carbon footprints and so on, all of this. Do people bother about it?
Yes, because I'll tell you again, the all the credit goes to today's modern world, technology, social media, awareness, education. So all these matters, are giving we are living in a world of TikTok and reels and all that stuff. So whenever I travel, I always go and talk on the bigger forums where I can see the audience is sitting in front of me, and I could see a young university students are also sitting there. So when the message goes to this generation Z and or now another generation Alpha is coming, so all these things, it all comes back to your awareness and education, and people do care, honestly speaking, and this is really, really positive thing.
And I mean, this is just out of curiosity. When we're actually talking about sustainability and, the works that we're doing, how come stuff that is environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, why is it more expensive than regular stuff?
See, I'll tell you what. If you talk about the single-use plastic bottles, the manufacturing of these bottles is very cheap. I have done my study on that one. But when you talk about this, for example, this is a glass. It's expensive, as compared to your bottle. So the price of single-use plastic bottles and glass is expensive. But this is one-time cost, So are you looking at the one-time cost, or are you looking about your regular expense? So this is again coming back.
Mindset thing.
Yes.
Yes. Like you said. All right. And do you ever face a challenge with figuring out your profit goals in lieu of all of these sustainability and things? Because, selling something that is not as sustainable, perhaps more profitable for you also, and sometimes.
See, nowadays a new terminology is used, consumerism.
Yes.
So it all goes back to the corporate companies, right? Imagine that nowadays we always talk about that everything is getting expensive, So have you really gone into that? What exactly, making them expensive? Of course, these things. Because when you have a lot of pressure from United Nations to all over the countries, that leave the use of plastic bags, introduce the paper bags. So all these things, of course, when comes down to the corporate company, then they of course look at their profit margin, and the companies who are having a lucrative profit margin, they're not ready to sacrifice. But life is a name of sacrifice. So we have implemented in our corporate organization, and the same message we gives to the other corporate organizations also.
Very nice. And now this is something else, of course, that really intrigues me. With travel companies particularly, because now everything is available online. Now, if I have to book a ticket, I'm able to see, okay, Emirates is giving me for such an amount, or Etihad is at this price, and so. How do travel agents make money? Bust the myth for us.
Volume.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, you are using airlines as a single individual, right? And you booked your ticket and that's it. Me as a travel agent, I will have my 100 clients. So,
and you also get a cut?
Of course.
Okay.
I will give these 100 clients to the airlines, So airline will deal me as a group. So whenever, when I talk about my hotel industry, we used to have a difference between the group rates and the individual rates, So travel agents, they make money only because of the volume, And they are not, by the way, selling one product. They are having multiple products.
Correct.
It's not only airlines tickets, it's like excursions also, the attractions and the visas as well at the same time. Hotel bookings are there. Now take the example of hotel booking. Very recently happened with me. I had this 11th of August event. I had some guests from abroad to attend this event. So of course it was happening in the World Trade Center. So I wrote an email being so clear, I said, okay, let me use my connections and talk to the sales guys in Novotel. And guess what? I got a very
cool
rate,
reply.
I said, okay. Then I checked booking.com. Then again, the rate was high. Then I said, okay, I have one portal which I'm using. All right. So let me just open that one. Guess what? I got a very good rate.
Wow.
I asked the inquiry about 5 rooms, but I ended up booking 19 rooms for that particular, event. So the rates were very, very less. So even though now you're coming back to your question that how travel agent make the money.
Make money, yeah.
Because of the volume. Because I have the API which I'm using giving me 380,000 rooms worldwide. So I am talking about that wholesale system, not about the individual one.
How much on an average do travel agents make on ticket sales? Percentage wise?
See, that is very difficult to tell. Yeah, because
everyone has a different.
Exactly, because it again depends upon their terms and conditions about their contracts with the airlines or with the hotels. So
every travel agency has a separate contract with separate terms with the airlines?
Absolutely, absolutely. But depending upon the volume.
Correct.
I promise 1,000, for example, tickets in a month, all right? And other travel agent will say, okay, I can't, take more than 100. So obviously the rates are different.
Is travel industry agency an easy business?
Not at all. It's not easy because especially when the COVID came, our industry was the first one to
be hit. Correct.
And it was the last one to recover.
100%.
Yeah. So that's why it's not easy. I still remember we had a lot of memes, and we are living in social media memes that the travel agents are selling samosas, and they were just open up the laundry or something. So these things happened in COVID, So it's not easy.
How did you survive during COVID?
Because I have multiple businesses. Okay. I was not focusing because in today's world, to be very honest, Diksha, you have to have multiple source for the income. You can't put all eggs in one basket.
I agree.
So COVID has taught us a lot of things,
Yes, yes, it has. And I think that, while people will not stop traveling, their ways and means would change. Indeed, COVID, the amount of losses that travel industries made was humongous. How did you, I'm sure you must have also incurred losses. How did you manage to cope up, and when was the time you actually said that, okay, fine, now I'm able to breathe? Was there ever a time you said that, let me just stop it, I don't want to do it anymore, khatam karte hain isko, mujhe nahi karna travel?
Not really. because it was my passion. I still remember. I'll tell you, we were having, in fact, in Ras Al Khaimah, the ruler of Ras Al Khaimah was present that time. The CEO of Air Arabia was present that time. So I was invited from WTTC, which is World Travel and Tourism Council,
Right.
based in Switzerland. So it was very invite only, specific people sitting in one room, and we were discussing. And I remember when the CEO of Air Arabia, Mr. Ali, told that, you know what, when I asked the question, he said that I like one thing, that in COVID we learned that people can't stop traveling. So as soon as things were a little bit, reluctant in, I would say, relaxed, not reluctant, relaxed in the countries, people started traveling.
Absolutely. And of course, indeed, you guys recovered and things worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm coming to the fun part, which is the rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you questions very, very soon. You need to answer. No, you can't think much. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's get started. Firstly, most overrated destination you have visited?
No. I would say every country is unique, beautiful. So every country is,
Your favorite destination?
I would say Dubai.
Dubai. You live here? No, not Dubai. Anywhere else in the world?
Anyway, Mauritius.
Mauritius?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. One major regret in your career?
Living hotel industry.
Okay. And biggest professional risk you've taken?
I miscalculated the leaving the hotel industry, but then I was able to overcome.
Interesting. Personal travel experience that changed your outlook towards life?
A lot. My wife always tells me that whenever you're traveling in that country, your face shines, So of course, it has changed.
Okay. The easiest country to travel to in the world?
Easiest country. See, we are blessed. Again, let me go a little bit, further in that one. We are blessed that we're living in Dubai. Dubai resident visa gives you access to different part of the world, So you have the people like me who are holding Pakistani passport, the first thing comes in our mind is visa.
Yes.
So obviously, easy thing, yes, of course, I have the money, I can buy the ticket, I can go anywhere. But what about the visa? So if I don't have any issue about the visa, then you can travel anywhere, because 2/3 of the world is covered in Dubai, So within 2 to 3 hours flight. So maximum 5 hours flight we call as per the radius,
So I keep saying this to all my friends, and I think this is also the reason why I love Dubai, that touchwood, and I think the rulers and the government have done such a fantabulous job.
Yeah.
Dubai is so strategically well placed that you have to get to anywhere in the world. Within 24 hours, you can reach your final destination at least. And with Emirates, the amount of connectivity and the direct flights and the number of flights that they have, like they've built one airline that can literally take you from one corner of the world to another corner direct. Like you just need to have money, and of course you need to have visa. You need to have this. Okay. Second, my next question is, in terms of the whole world, which is the countries whose visas are the most difficult to obtain?
I would say UK, because as per my travel experience to 80 countries, it not only to my nationality, it applies to most of the nationalities. Reason being because UK goes a lot of details about the finances, So this is a tip which I wanted to share with the people as well, that UK visa is easy to get, but they go very much in detail about your bank statement. If your salary is 20,000, it should be 20,000, not 21,000. They will ask you, how come this 1,000 extra came? So because of that reason, they refuse the visa.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. And one destination in the world that's really popular amongst Dubai people?
Thailand is number one. Yes, as per our statistics.
Right.
If you talk about Asia. If you talk about Europe, UK is number one from here. Then, of course, you talk about US as well. Africa, Kenya is number one, in terms of the game tribes and the, nature life. So those are the destinations.
Okay. Top 3 destinations in the coming months you would recommend people watching this podcast to travel to and explore?
Vietnam is opening a lot. Vietnam is number one. They can combine with Vietnam and Cambodia.
But there's language problems, right?
No. I'll tell you because the word is a global village now. All right. I used to have a little bit difficulty when I used to travel to Istanbul with the taxi drivers. All right. But now they speak English. So the whole country's economy based on tourism, and tourism is number one industry in the world, by the way. In terms of the figures and the money and all that stuff. So I would say Vietnam definitely is a new destination, to be very honest. Then if you talk about other areas, people underestimate Africa.
I completely agree.
Yes, Africa is beautiful, honestly speaking. Botswana, I was there 2 years back and they had the best game drive.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
they have the best game drive. I have done game drives in, Kenya, in Rwanda, the gorilla trekking I have done, you can see the chimpanzees, you can see the monkeys, but the whole nature is in Africa. It all depends that you are having the breakfast with the giraffes in Kenya.
Wow.
So, and we are, elephants are having, coming to visit your swimming pools. So it's so much beautiful when
So
you go
different.
to Africa. Yeah.
Especially with the kind of things we are surrounded with here, staycations and
Yeah.
go and travel and you're at least like so close to nature and doing things.
It is.
So for me, I'll tell you, Africa, my experience of Africa was very different. I was, the plan just happened overnight. My dad was like, listen, let's just go to Africa and then let's go to Tanzania. So we landed in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
And one thing is, I can't ever forget that I could see the stars so up close.
Yes.
Because we were closer to the equator.
Yeah.
It's like as if, if I would extend my arm, I would not be able to get the stars. It was that beautiful. Number two, the fruits and vegetables, organic,
Yes.
non-pesticides, no fertilizers. It was so fresh, so nice, delicious. And, the pineapples, the tomatoes, etc. Lovely, lovely stuff. And third, the biggest thing is affordability.
Yes, true.
Okay, Africa is not as expensive to travel, and the best of the luxuries you can still afford it, and also you can get from one corner to the other. And yes, indeed, safety is a concern. I will not deny the fact, but I think that as long as you know where to go, when to go, you take care of yourself. It's fine. So, I would also say Africa is this thing.
But let me add, with your permission, let me add about Tanzania. Tanzania, they have the best game drive in Serengeti. Serengeti is world's number one where you have the animal migration happens every year.
Yes, I've been to
from
Serengeti.
July. Yes, from July to September. So Gorogoro and Serengeti, from Serengeti they comes to Mara River, crossing the Mara River they comes to Kenya. So I have done all that stuff. So that's, and when you mentioned about the stargazing, the best place for the stargazing is Namibia. All right. The whole sky is so clean when you sit and you can name the stars, that. Okay, because when I was very recently in South Africa in May this year, we were doing the stargazing. In fact, it was just a couple of hour drive from Cape Town. And let me just add on Zimbabwe, since I'm traveling to Zimbabwe on 5th of September. Zimbabwe is a landlocked country. Zimbabwe itself is beautiful, right?
Yes.
You have the best, which is Victoria Falls, of course. And Victoria Falls, when you go, you don't feel that you're in Zimbabwe because
I agree.
that was under, Queen Elizabeth. So it was under the influence of UK. So a lot of buildings and all that stuff you will see. And then, of course, you have the best thing about the Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls.
Niagara Falls is in Canada. That I have been to there.
Oh, yes.
So when talk about falls, yes, Victoria Falls. But they have the, in fact, falls which is coming from Zambia side and Victoria Falls towards the Big Falls, which is the city name as well. So both are beautiful.
Have you ever visited India?
Good question. I have already planned. I'm going in September. There is one event happens, which is Sateh. Which is happening in February. So I'm starting the process. I'm already in touch with my travel friends in India.
Nice.
And they were very much eager to invite me. I said that, guys, I'm coming to India.
Lovely, lovely. Well, that's amazing, Zaim. It was so nice having you on the podcast. I think in terms of travel, we've got to know so much, so many other destinations, etc. People can explore and travel and do things, even insights about your business and your hospitality industry. And for everyone who's watching us, if you are keen to explore any of these wonderful travel destinations, look at Mauritius, Botswana, or you want to do a trip to Africa, Zaim is the perfect person to actually help you guide through where to visit, how to get there, and ensure that you have a beautiful experience there. So his details are going to be put down in the description box below, and please feel free to get in touch with him. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and an entrepreneur like you who's literally sailed through so many triumphs, so many issues in life. I think it's just amazing to have you here, and I hope our viewers draw some great inspiration from you as well.
Thank you very much for having me. And it was really, really nice talking. Thank you very much.
I'm glad. So, guys, up until I see you guys next time, take care, stay safe, and keep getting educated, keep getting inspired. See you. Thank you.